Hi folks, welcome to the World Report. I'm Scott Crowfoot. On today's World Report, Sharia law comes to Pakistan as the government agrees to a truce with a militant faction. The price to be president. New reports show the Clinton campaign in debt of more than $33 million. Is this who the Democrats want running the highest office? And now to our top story. Lack of leadership is our top story. As oil hits another all-time high, headed towards our prediction of $150 a barrel by summer, our inept and apparently misinformed members of Congress decided last week to stop filling our strategic petroleum reserve, give billions more dollars to farmers in the Farm Bill, and now they're planning to sue OPEC. Joining me as always is historian and global economist Morris Beschloss. Maury, could this be the worst Congress that you've ever seen in all the years you've been following American politics?
You know, there's an old saying that the inmates have taken over the insane asylum, and I think that's about the closest analogy I can bring to it. It's the most impotent Congress that I have ever seen. I haven't been around for 210 years, so I don't know if it's the worst, but certainly in my long tenure in being a political junkie, I don't think I've seen anyone that's worse.
Let's start out with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's called the Strategic Petroleum Reserve because we went through a crisis in the 1970s.
That's correct.
When the OPEC nations decided to hold back oil and embargo us.
Yes, because we were supporting Israel in that October
the
war.
Yom Kippur War.
Exactly.
Okay, so if we have a Strategic Petroleum Reserve for that specific reason, and we're only talking about 77,000 barrels per day anyway, when
that's right.
America uses 21 million barrels a day.
You got your numbers right.
97 to 1. And I think this big story should be the one congressman, Wayne Allard of Colorado,
who's retiring, by the way,
and had the nerve and the chutzpah, if you want to use that word, to actually stand up to the rest of the members of Congress and the United States Senate and say this is a ridiculous thing. What do you make of that, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve decision?
It's something that they're trying to show the folks back home that they're doing something about the energy shortage. Actually, the petroleum reserve, when it gets up to 600 million barrels of oil, and it's almost there now, it's about 97% filled, we have enough maybe for a couple months, and consequently, it means nothing. It means having 2 months of oil isn't going to save us if we're in real trouble in this country. The real trouble is we're doing nothing about developing our energy policy or producing oil and natural gas when we should be in an absolute crisis mode to get it done.
Speaking of a crisis mode and the ineptness of our Congress, the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives, they decided the last couple of days that now they're going to draw up legislation or a lawsuit and threatening to sue the OPEC nations. Is this the most ridiculous thing you could have ever heard in your entire life?
You know what this reminds me of? The Russian Duma under Boris Yeltsin. You remember the Duma when they finally got out of the Soviet Union and they had this parliament and they were fighting each other every day and getting nothing done. And the only time anything got done finally when Vladimir Putin gets in there and still lets the Duma exist, but nobody hears anything about him because they don't have any power. Well, what you have now, you got Nancy Pelosi who put an absolute stop to any kind of a bilateral trade deal that we had one with Colombia ready to get signed, all one-sided in our favor. She postponed it indefinitely. Then you got Hillary, of course, talking about ripping apart